Hey everyone, it's Hannah, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my oven. This is my yarn dyeing oven and it has been fantastic. It's Hannah, and if you are new here, welcome. Please feel free to subscribe if you enjoy what you see. I do studio vlogs where I show you day in the life of me as a full-time indie yarn dyer. I also chat about knitting and crocheting, and sometimes I give out small business tips as well. So if you think that's your kind of vibe, I would love it if you stuck around, but at the same time, if you hate it, that's fine, feel free to leave. So when you are dyeing yarn, the three things you need, apart from yarn, obviously, is water, acid, heat. It took me a long time to buy an oven, and when I fell pregnant, I decided that was the time. And since having the baby, it has been invaluable and so useful. Before getting the oven, I initially started out dyeing yarn in my house, and I would apply the dye and I would put it in my food oven, and I could do 2 trays at a time. I used IKEA trays and that worked out well. And then I upgraded when I had the dye shed. I dyed on induction hobs for a good length of time, double induction hobs, and I could do 4 at once, and that worked out well. And then I got this bad boy. I'm not gonna let go too close to the oven just because I really need to give it a clean. I might change my mind on whether I don't get too close. Just don't judge me, okay? I really need to give it a clean. I just haven't had the time. I had very specific specifications with this oven that I needed to hit. One of them being I didn't want it to have a super high wattage. And the most important thing is to get it in the dye shed, I have to get it through the house. Oh, it's a dragonfly. I have to get it through, I had to get it all the way through the house. I don't have a side passage to the house. Whoever owned this house previously had a lean-to built on the side, which is very helpful, but at the same time, for moments like this, less helpful. So I had quite a narrow space for it to go through, and also I didn't want it to be too heavy because we would have to navigate it through the house ourselves and get it up some steps to get it in the dye shed. I also didn't want to spend an absolute fortune on it in case I really hated dyeing in an oven again, because I'd got used to dyeing on induction hobs. So the oven that I'm using, this is an Adexa oven. The product code is WHHPC20. It's on the website, it says it's a professional fermentation, proofing and holding cabinet, 15 tier. That means it can fit 15 gastronorm trays. The one, these ones, 15 of those. In each tray, I can fit 4 skeins of yarn or 20 mini skeins. That means in a full oven, I can dye up 60 skeins of yarn or 300 mini skeins, which is pretty good. There are some bigger ovens out there that hold much more than this little boy can hold. But you know, it's fine, it does the job. The specifications on the website say that this goes from 30 degrees Celsius all the way up to 85 degrees Celsius, but I have seen it hit 102 degrees Celsius, especially when we've been in the heat wave, and this room is warm. When it's full, it gets up to about 80-ish degrees. So at the moment, this cabinet is £943.20, including VAT. That's a reduction from £2,200, and there is a reason it is reduced, but I will go into that in a minute. So it is 535 millimeters wide, it is 825 millimeters deep, and it is 1,710 millimeters tall. I am 5'7"-ish. Let me take my shoes off. I'm in Crocs. I'm a little bit shorter than the oven. It weighs 70 kilos, so it's not super duper heavy. I won't lie, we did have a D&D night when it arrived, and because the delivery people don't set it up for you, they basically dumped it outside the house. I had to sign a thing and wait till Mario got home. It's on wheels, which is great, very helpful. We had a D&D night that night. It's got handles on the side, which meant it was good because there were 4 of us and we could lift it up the steps. I didn't lift it because I was pregnant. Definitely could have lifted it, definitely lifted things later on in my pregnancy, but that's fine. I could have done it. But we lifted up the steps. It was absolutely fine, not too heavy at all. So it is a phase 1 oven, so it just uses, or the power supply, sorry, is phase 1, so you don't have to get any plugs converted to phase 2. I learned all about this when my husband opened his bakery in 2022. I learned all about phase 1, phase 2, because I had no idea. It's 230 volts and uses 1500 watts to run this entire thing. By contrast, my double induction hobs that I bought and used for absolutely ages, and I'm tempted to go back to use every so often, they use 2800 watts. So running 4 of them at once used significantly more power, like an obscene amount more than the oven. They also get hotter, so that's fine. You might remember, if you've been watching me for a while, I used to trip the electrics quite often when I would put all of the hobs on at once, so I had to stagger turning them on. Very annoying. Oh, there's a fly in here. Oh no! There are downsides to this oven. I will note the good things first. I'm going to let this fly out. Get out. Maybe I won't. I've at least opened a window. The good thing, I've opened a window, so if there's more noise, I apologise, but I just want this fly to leave. You switch it on manually using the switch at the bottom. I generally keep the heat on 9 and the humidity on 0, and I've switched off the proof button. I can't remember what they do at this point. I do keep a tray underneath because as it cools down, water does come out of the oven and can drip onto the floor. So just to make sure that my floor doesn't get completely destroyed, I do that so the tray catches any extra water. It's got a little screen that tells you what the temperature is, and it gets up to temperature quite quickly. It's not super duper noisy to run, which is nice as well. Unlike induction hobs, I feel like it got quite noisy in here, whereas this is just nice and gentle hum in the background. The good things about this oven, I can dye significantly more yarn at once. Something that would take me all day and then some to do, I can do in a couple of hours. I can generally turn the oven on, preheat it, dye all of my yarn, load it in the oven and leave it for 2 to 3 hours, depending on how much water's in the tray, depending how dark and saturated the colour is. If there's not too much water in the tray, I'll leave it for 2 hours. And if it's a darker colour, I will leave it that little bit longer. I then switch the oven off and leave the yarn to cool in the oven. The next day I will open the door, rinse all the yarn, and then leave the door open to dry out. Because it is a proofing cabinet, it can handle some moisture, but obviously you don't want to load up day after day after day and overload it with like moisture, I suppose, from steam, condensation, goodness knows what in there. So it's good to let it dry out in between dye sessions if you can. It can handle 2 days of dyeing at a time, especially if you dye early in the morning and then you let it cool down and then open the door. The reason you should, right, let's go into some negatives with this oven. General rule, love this oven. It saved me a lot of money. It's saving me a lot of time. It made dyeing advents while pregnant much more manageable and has made my life much easier. I can come down here and dye yarn for a couple of hours, then go back in the house and be with my baby. It's fabulous. Negatives. Some people don't like to preheat the oven. So if you don't I've done this once, accidentally forgot to preheat my oven. Metal expands when it's hot. You know this. I'm not explaining a new concept to you, but the problem is then when you put the trays in, the little slots where the trays go, that's what these lines are, the little slots where the trays go haven't expanded, and so your tray can slip and fall and crash into the bottom of the oven, and it's really, 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 really annoying. This oven is great if you preheat it. I have never had a tray slip when I have preheated the oven. I've had them slip a couple of times when removing the yarn to rinse, and I've had it happen once when I haven't preheated the oven because I forgot to switch it on. So that's my tip, preheat the oven. The other thing, the glass door isn't glass, it's plexiglass, which is stupid. It's really stupid to have this on a product that gets hot. When it cools down, the metal warps, and I thought it was my fault the first time, but it doesn't say anywhere in the instructions that you can't do it because I'd left the door open for it to cool down so it could dry out and cool down at the same time. Now, this was February, so it was a little bit cold, maybe March, so it was a little bit colder. Some cracks, there are some cracks around the edge of my door. And I thought this was user error. I thought this was my fault, but I still called to ask if it's possible to get a replacement door because, yeah. But essentially, it's under 12-month warranty, except for anything to do with the glass. So obviously, this is a problem that they know about and is potentially why it is so reduced. I don't know, I'm speculating. Despite there being cracks in the glass, there is no heat that escapes through the cracks. Therefore, it doesn't impact the oven to my knowledge. So, and I just kind of dealt with it. Mario knows people, or knows a man. Everyone knows a man. Mario knows a man who repairs appliances. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep using it. I spent quite a lot of money on it, so I may as well keep using it. And the more expensive ones that I had been looking at that I could afford, because I can afford a more expensive one, they wouldn't fit through my house, which is the most frustrating part. So I just thought if it gets worse and it impacts it in a really big way and it probably breaks, then we'll just get Paul to fix it and it'll be fine. We'll just get, he can work his magic, he can fix it. But yeah, I was quite pregnant, and when I called them, and they didn't help me at all, and I left a bad review on the product and it hasn't been posted. I wonder why. And because they have to approve all the reviews, and it would probably have a lot of negative reviews if they allowed all of them through. But despite the flaws, it's working really well for me. I can get so much more done than I could do before. I'm dyeing up 140 advent calendars this year. I can get 2 days done in one oven, which is absolutely incredible. And I know it sounds like I'm complaining about it quite a lot, but I just want you to know the negatives before you spend almost £1,000 on an oven, because that is not chump change. That is a significant investment. Now, it's difficult. Do I recommend this oven? I do recommend this oven. I know a lot of people who wouldn't recommend this oven, who have this oven, and they have huge regrets buying it, and they have huge problems with it. So I'll be completely honest about that. There are dyers that I know who have this oven and they really wish they hadn't bought it and just waited and saved up that little bit more money to buy a better oven. You can get massive buffalo ovens that can do double the amount that this oven can. I just would not be able to fit it in my house. This fits my needs perfectly, other than the plexiglass on the front is terrible and you have to preheat it before you put the trays in. Maybe it's because I'm about the same height as the oven and some of the other people who regret buying it are that bit shorter, so it is a bit more difficult to get trays in the top of an oven. It's a bit easier for me because I'm that little bit taller, but I would recommend this oven. It is an affordable oven in comparison to some of the other ones. Like I say, £950 is still a lot of money, but it's not too big. It goes from my shoulder to about here, but that's not helpful to you. We know what the width is. Or the depth is 825 mil. So you can measure that yourself, but it's a good height, it's a good depth. It doesn't use as much power as my 4 induction hobs did. I can get so much more done at once. I can put on an oven of yarn and I can go inside and I can be twisting up other yarn. I can be doing other things, making stitch markers or whatever, instead of when I was dyeing yarn on the induction hobs before, I'd have to babysit them. So I could do as much work. It would take me 4 times as long, and I had to stay down here the whole time. Very annoying. The trays that I use are these ones. Vogue, are they Vogue? I don't know, I don't think they've got branding on. Vogue Gastronorm pans. I was using Vogue pans before, but I was using slightly deeper ones. I was using 100mm pans. These ones are 65mm. This is the size you need to fit 15 trays in. The 100mm trays, you will obviously be able to fit fewer trays in because they go deeper. I was using these before anyway because I could use them on induction hobs and they worked, which was great. But yeah, I've just got slightly shallower ones. I've had to adjust how I dye yarn. I've had to go back to how I was doing it before My speckles aren't as crispy. I know some people who are very talented out there who are much more patient with dyeing yarn than me, I'll be completely honest. But they have had the time to sort of master how to do crispy speckles in the oven. I haven't quite got there yet. I'll get there. I will get there, I promise. But this has been such a great investment. Oh, the washing's done. I can hear it all the way down here. This has been such a great investment. I have definitely earned my money back, both in sales, but mainly in time. And I regret nothing about getting this oven. If you have this oven and you hate this oven, please leave your feedback in the comments below, because I know that people would love to have multiple perspectives on this oven, because I do know there are people that hate this oven. If people ask me about it and they ask what oven I have, I tell them exactly what I think of it, and that I do like it. I would recommend it. I really, really would. I'm completely honest. I'm not getting paid by Adexa at all. I'm getting no money from this at all. I just always get questions about this oven. So I thought I would share my thoughts with you. Is it perfect? No, not at all. Not in the slightest is it perfect, actually. Quite the opposite. But it does the job. It fits the bill. And it's really helped me out and has helped to make my business better and more sustainable. So if you like this video and you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe. I post a new video here every single Friday. Feel free to follow me on social media. Links can all be found in the description box below, along with anything else that I think you might need. And I'll pop a link to this oven. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I'm not getting paid a penny by Adexa for this oven. I'm just talking to you about my yarn dyeing oven. Please leave a fire emoji. Sure, leave a fire emoji in the comments down below if you've made it this far and you don't know what else to say. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so wonderful and supportive of me. I truly do appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye.